Hello, dear souls. Welcome to the very first episode of this podcast. Before we begin, I want to share something honestly. English is not the language I use every day, and I am still learning, so sometimes my grammar may not be perfect, or the way I express my thoughts may sound a little unusual. But I hope that is okay, because I did not start this podcast to sound perfect. I started it because I wanted to speak honestly. Maybe somewhere, one of you will hear this and think, oh, so I am not the only one. Lately, I have been standing at a very strange crossroads in my life. I am almost graduating, which is supposed to feel exciting. And it is exciting, but it is also terrifying. People keep asking questions like, what job will you do? What is your plan? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Meanwhile, sometimes I do not even remember why I opened the fridge. 5 years feels a little ambitious. The future suddenly feels very real. There are decisions to make, responsibilities waiting, and the quiet pressure to become a successful adult as quickly as possible. Through all of this, one thing has always been with me: my ADHD. For a long time, I believed it was the reason I could not live the way other people seemed to live. I thought everyone else had a straight road inside their mind. They chose one task, focused on it, finished it, and calmly moved to the next one. My mind felt more like a train station during rush hour. Every thought arrived at the same time. Some were important, some were random. One had no destination at all, and somewhere in the background, music was playing from a browser tab I could not find. I heard the same advice again and again: focus on one thing. Finish what you started. Stop getting distracted. The advice sounded reasonable, so I tried very hard to follow it. I forced myself to stay with one difficult task until it was finished. Sometimes it worked, but many times I was not really working. I was sitting in front of the screen, reading the same sentence 5 times, checking my phone without knowing why, and feeling more tired every minute. Then I blamed myself for being tired. I called myself lazy, undisciplined, and unreliable. That became one of the hardest parts. The problem was not only that I could not focus. The problem was that I started judging myself every time I could not focus. I thought shame would motivate me. I thought that if I was angry enough with myself, maybe I would finally become more disciplined. But shame did not make me stronger. It made every task feel heavier. I could not focus, so I hated myself. Because I hated myself, starting became even harder. Then I failed again and used that failure as proof that something was wrong with me. For many nights, I stayed awake thinking about this. I kept asking, why can't my brain work normally? But eventually, I realized that maybe this was the wrong question, so I tried asking something different. What conditions help my brain work well? That question did not magically solve everything, but it changed the direction of my thinking. Instead of trying to defeat my brain, I started trying to understand it. One thing I noticed was that changing tasks was not always a failure. Sometimes, when a difficult task drained too much energy, moving to a smaller and simpler task helped my mind recover. I might organize a folder, wash a cup, write down an idea, clean one corner of my room, or learn a few English words. After a short time, the first task often felt less heavy. I could return with a clearer mind, but I also had to be honest with myself. Not every task switch is a healthy reset. Sometimes changing tasks is just escaping. There is a big difference between saying, "I will take 10 minutes to reset and then come back," and saying, "I will watch one short video." We all know how that story ends. One short video becomes 20 videos, and suddenly I know the entire history of a stranger's morning routine while my assignment is still empty. So I started learning the difference between intentional switching and uncontrolled distraction. Intentional switching has a reason, a limit, and a path back. Before I leave a difficult task, I write a small note for myself. Next step, finish this paragraph, or check the results in section 3. It sounds simple, but it helps. When I return, I do not have to rebuild the entire problem in my head. I already know where to begin. I also stopped expecting myself to feel motivated before starting. Motivation is unreliable, especially when a task is boring, unclear, or overwhelming. Instead, I try to reduce the size of the first step. I do not tell myself, "Finish the whole project." I tell myself, "Open the file." Then, read the last paragraph. Then, write one sentence. Sometimes the hardest part is not doing the work. It is crossing the invisible distance between thinking about the work and beginning it. Recently, AI has become an important part of this system. Not because AI fixes ADHD. It does not. And not because AI can replace my thinking. It cannot. But it can reduce some of the friction that makes starting difficult. When my thoughts are messy, I can explain them badly, and AI can help me organize them. When a task feels too large, I can ask AI to divide it into smaller steps. When I have too many ideas at once, I can put them somewhere before they disappear. Sometimes my mind creates ideas faster than I can arrange them. AI helps me turn the pile into a map. In a strange way, it also gives me an external place to hold part of the mental load. I do not need to keep every detail active in my head at the same time. I can write down what I know, ask questions, compare options, and return to the conversation later. For a brain that can lose one important thought because a new thought suddenly appears, that is very useful. But one of the most interesting changes happened during waiting time. When I give AI a difficult task, it sometimes needs time to process the request. In the past, waiting was dangerous for me. I would pick up my phone just for a minute and somehow lose half an hour. Now, I try to use those small gaps more intentionally. While AI is working on one problem, I might stand up, stretch, drink water, put a few things back where they belong, learn 3 new words, or write one sentence for a future podcast. I call this parallel processing. But maybe the more honest name is giving my restless brain somewhere useful to go. The important thing is that I do not try to fill every second with productivity. Rest is not wasted time. Sometimes the best thing I can do is nothing. I can look outside, breathe, listen to music, or let my mind become quiet for a moment. I am trying to build a better life, not turn myself into a machine with a more efficient schedule. For a while, I wanted to believe that ADHD was secretly a superpower. That idea felt comforting. And yes, sometimes ADHD may come with curiosity, creativity, intense focus, energy, or the ability to connect ideas in unusual ways. But I do not want to pretend that it is always beautiful. Sometimes it makes normal life harder. Sometimes I forget important things. Sometimes I become overwhelmed by a task that looks easy to everyone else. Sometimes I know exactly what I should do, but I still cannot make myself begin. Both things can be true. My brain can have strengths, and I can still struggle. Accepting myself does not mean pretending the difficult parts do not exist. It means I stop using shame as my main source of motivation. ADHD is not automatically a gift, and it is not a personal failure. For me, it is a different way of experiencing attention, energy, motivation, and time. Some days I can work deeply for hours. Other days, replying to one message feels strangely difficult. The goal is not to pretend that every difficulty is secretly an advantage. The goal is to understand myself well enough to build systems that make life easier. I am learning to make tasks smaller. I leave notes for my future self. I switch tasks without abandoning them. I use AI as a tool, not as a replacement for my own mind. I try to create structure outside my brain when my brain cannot create enough structure by itself. And when a system fails, I try to adjust the system before immediately blaming the person using it. Maybe I was never broken. Maybe I was trying to live by instructions written for a different kind of mind. And maybe growing up is not about becoming the person everyone told us to be. Maybe it is about understanding who we already are, then building a life where that person can breathe, work, rest, and move forward without constantly feeling ashamed. I am still learning. I am still almost graduating. I am still worried about the future. My room is not always clean. My browser still has too many tabs. And yes, there is still one chair in my room that has somehow become a permanent home for clothes. But I understand myself a little better now. And somehow, that makes the future feel less frightening. Thank you for spending this time with me, dear souls. Sharing this story makes my heart feel lighter, and I hope it brings a little peace to your mind too. Perhaps your mind is also busy, restless, curious, tired, or full of too many ideas. Perhaps you have spent years believing that you were lazy, difficult, or not trying hard enough. So before you leave, I want you to remember this. You do not have to hate yourself into becoming better. You can be patient with your mind. You can learn how it works. You can build systems that support you instead of punishing you. And even when progress is slow, you are still moving. If this episode made you feel understood, you can like, subscribe, or share it with another soul whose mind also has 17 tabs open. Be gentle with your busy mind, dear souls. I will see you in the next episode.